I'm Chronix from the most extreme wrestling, and this is your SmackDown review for June 15th, 2012. AJ is in the ring with the microphone, and she's going to talk about Kane. She says the reason that she kissed Kane was, and we hear the yelling of, excuse me, here comes Vickie Guerrero in these boots that, man, it kind of made her look good. I mean, I'm just saying, when women wear boots, they're just automatically 15% hotter, I'm just saying. So, she's got Dolph Ziggler in tow. Dolph Ziggler grabs the microphone halfway down the ring, and he starts cutting a promo. I don't know if it's coincidence that he just keeps doing this, or what, or that's part of his gimmick or something. But he says that he is going to be champion. That's what he says. So, AJ calls Vickie a grandma, and we know. We know from the past that you can't call Vickie Guerrero a grandma because she gets really mad and yells. And so in this instance, she gets really mad and yells. And here comes CM Punk. CM Punk talks about the whole excuse me thing. He says, no, you should excuse us or you for justify saying that, or something. I don't know. He was complaining about her saying excuse me in her horrible voice or whatever. He says that Dolph Ziggler has the same old dance, same old song and dance, and that he sounds like a broken record every single week. So very, very high criticisms of Dolph Ziggler here. Now, just like clockwork, here comes another guy. Now we got Dolph Ziggler and Punk and AJ and Vickie Guerrero and all of them, but now we got Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan calls Punk a hero. Kind of a big reaction for just saying that, but everyone kind of reacts. I guess the CM Punk fans were mad because, you know, you can't call Punk a hero because, well, he's not a hero, you know. He's an anti-hero or something. So he starts, of course, Punk doesn't like this. You know, he gets mad-faced. And he says he's going to be the new World Heavyweight Champion again. Yes, yes. And here comes Sheamus. World Heavyweight Champion. So now we got 3 heels on one side of the ring and then 3 faces on the other side of the ring. I guess if you can call AJ a face or whatever. I don't know. So Sheamus says arse. Of course he does. I didn't remember much else about it. But Sheamus says something about how this, like all that you see right here in the middle of the ring, is the main event. I didn't know that. Maybe they had promo for that before and I just wasn't paying attention. But he says that that's the main event and that match should happen now. So I'm like, really? You're going to put all of the main event guys that are on SmackDown and then some of them from Raw as well in the main event, but the main event's now? What's going to be the main event later? I was just kind of confused because I'm like, Vince McMahon's not there, so I had no idea what was going on. But we'll get to that later. So, AJ attacks the old grandma, and then the Zebra Patrol, they all come in and break it up. Alright, so Punk and Sheamus versus Dolph and Bryan, and that's happening now. And this match, it was, you know, typical main event match, nothing to blow your mind or anything, but Dolph Ziggler, he gets the win because of a distraction with Vickie and AJ scuffling. So that kind of sounds like bad news for Ziggler at the pay-per-view when he's facing Sheamus for the World Heavyweight title, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see for that. AJ fights with Vickie, catfight style. AJ, you know, she hits her back on the apron. And we all know, because remember when she just clipped Big Show? This is a professional wrestler, by the way, and a pretty good one at that. AJ, and I know she's a woman, but come on. You know, she hits her back on the apron, and it pretty much knocks her out. Now, they kind of made it sound like that they were going to kind of like show more of this and kind of give us updates of what happened to AJ. But from what I saw, they never followed up on it. Now, I did go feed the cats sometime during SmackDown, so maybe I missed that. But, you thought the segment was over, right? Well, it wasn't. Alright, so, here's Kane. Oh, they did explain it. It happened right here. What am I thinking? Oh my god, I thought it was over. I don't know why I was assuming that you thought the segment was over. I was the one thinking it was over. So stupid. Okay, now, Punk attacks... Okay, oh god, I missed some stuff. Here comes Kane. Kane comes to the save. Now everything is back on track. Kane comes to save AJ, alright? AJ is passed out. And here comes Punk out of nowhere going to attack Kane. I guess he's jealous or something. Or maybe he's the hero. I don't know. I'm so confused. And Daniel Bryan comes out and attacks Punk. Then Kane choke slams both of them, and this is where things get extra weird because AJ's pretty much recovered from this, and get this, if you didn't watch SmackDown, I swear I'm not lying, this is what happened. After all this and Kane is standing victorious, AJ drops to her knees, and she gets all sexy drunk look on her face, and it was creepy, and then they exchanged looks while AJ was on her knees, and that was the end of the segment. Okay, now let's move on. The Funkasaurus, he's cutting a promo. I don't know why this guy keeps cutting a promo. I know, like me and everyone else has always said, you know, it's like, oh, the Funkasaurus, I guess it works for a certain demographic, but, you know, he has to grow and do something else besides squashes, or people will quit caring, like I have now started doing. But, cutting promos wasn't really what I had in mind, especially at WrestleMania and now. He just looks like a scared little girl. I mean, look at his eyes and his mannerisms and the way he kind of through his words. He's scared. But he says he's been banned from Raw and he's got real talk. And he calls Cena a homie. The ultimate sin in the internet wrestling community, being a friend with Cena. So, it was a horrible promo and siding with Cena. I mean, I guess his target audience is a bunch of kids who dance around with him after the matches and everything, but whatever. Okay, so he's going to have a match against Heath Slater. And, of course, Brodus Clay squashes him in like 2 seconds. But the Funkadactyls after the match, after this 10-second match, they celebrate like the guy just won the Super Bowl. I mean, go back and watch it. They were like, whoa! And they were jumping up and down and freaking out. It was so stupid. Now, the lights were all crazy. And I know when I was watching this, I was like, who is that guy coming in and attacking Brodus Clay out of nowhere? I thought, swear to God, that it was Chris Masters. But it wasn't. It was David Otunga. Now, Chronix, how could you make that mistake? Well, I'll explain it to you. Look, you know how like the crowd is all blue because they put the blue lights on it? Well, after the Brodus Clay match, they did the same treatment in the ring. So everybody kind of looked the same. And judging by his body and the way he looked when he slid in the ring, I thought it was Chris Masters from 2005. But it wasn't. It was David Otunga. And they fought, and the Funkadactyls were all freaked out. Now we have Layla on commentary, which could only signal a singles Divas match. So, Layla, the champion, she says 2 sentences. Not even kidding. Maybe 3, but probably 2. While Beth Phoenix and Alicia Fox have a match. A Grand Slam, though, thank God, and Beth Phoenix wins. That's literally how fast it was because of Layla said 2 sentences and it was over. Just enough to promo for their match at the pay-per-view or whatever. They even had to put a graphic at the bottom of the screen because I'm sure that no one even knew that was going to happen. Because that's straight out of nowhere. Alright, so Laurinaitis, he's in the ring. He gives a public apology. He calls out the Big Show. The Big Show comes down. The Big Show says, you know, I got held down by Sting, Flair, and Hogan and WCW. And I'm like, dude, are you freaking serious? That was over like 12 years ago, right? I mean, you left WCW in 1999. You're talking about being held down and like, oh my gosh. But, you know, he talks about how, you know, McMahon wanted him to be like an attraction and stuff, and he's the Big Show and whatever. And I was just kind of like, eh. Until the Big Show says this. He's talking about Cena. He says, what I'm going to do to Cena is I will make him uncomfortable. What he's going to do to Cena will be uncomfortable. That just creeped me out. I mean, I guess all I can really say about that is, it's in a steel cage match, right? So, making him feel uncomfortable, that's pretty hardcore. Now, Cole has it on good authority as he tells us from the rooftops, or at least the tabletop, that Cena will be on SmackDown, because apparently they're in Cena's area, or hometown, or home area. Cena lives like 30 minutes away from the arena. And the Big Show says, well, I'll be right here, and I won't be hard to find. So, he won't be hard to find. Okay, now Christian, the Intercontinental Champion, versus Jack Swagger. And Christian wins. I don't know why Jack Swagger was in there. I guess because they didn't really have anybody else to face. But I never understand Jack Swagger or why he's out there. People say he's a good wrestler, but I mean, define good wrestler. I don't get it. He's so boring. I don't understand. Anyways, two jobbers in the ring, and they're going to face Ryback. Okay, so the jobbers, they tell some jokes, and here comes Ryback. And this match, you know, I think that the matches are funny. Obviously, I don't think they're 5-star classics or anything. I mean, I get a good laugh out of them, but this one was not that great, even for funny stuff. There was kind of some botches in there. They just kind of looked bizarre. And this is a question. Why do the jobbers always look surprised when Ryback's music plays? Are they not antagonizing him to come out in the first place? Isn't that the whole point? But they always look incredibly surprised. So anyways, the match doesn't go that smooth, but Ryback wins. Tyson Kidd versus Damien Sandow. I guess they're in a feud now because Damien Sandow, you know, beat up Hornswoggle, who was actually being a super heel in reality by making fun of several Ballsy. But anyways, Damien Sandow is supposed to be the heel, and Tyson Kidd is the face. I don't know if they're having a match at the pay-per-view or something, but wow, randomness. Cena, he shows up in his Cena gear. So I don't know if he put on the Cena gear before he left, or he just sits around the house wearing Cena gear. I mean, yeah, I don't want to make a divorce joke, but I just, you know, no wonder. Anyways, alright, so Cena's in the ring, and Johnny Ace is like, you know, you're going to get fired if you lose. And he, like, adds this stipulation. And he's like, you can't do that because you're not going to be there. And he's like, well, you know, if you lose, that means that Johnny Ace, I'm still around. So that means on Raw, I'm going to fire you on Raw because I'm still here because I didn't get fired myself. So, I mean, they said it a lot less confusing than that or whatever. But I'm just like, oh, really? So, WWE, this is your plan. If Big Show wins, Cena is fired. But if Cena wins, then Johnny Ace is fired. I don't know. Did that not make it completely obvious as what's going to happen at No Way Out? I don't know. I didn't like SmackDown at all. I thought it was a heaping pile of crap, and I wish that I hadn't watched it and spent my Friday night watching this crap, but I don't know. I've seen much better. Oh, and then Cena punches John Laurinaitis, and everybody goes home happy. So yeah, that was SmackDown.